Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it! So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and Ruban.
As well.
I think we're live there, Rube. We're live.
Oh, hey. Welcome to the worst of the best. This is where brothers Ryan and Ruben, we find the very best things. Whether it be, well, really mainly the arts, food, music, that sort of thing. Maybe we can expand our horizons above that.
We're doing that which can be measured.
That's right.
So the best, what can be measured by the public, as the public has bought into the best, and we will take what is the worst from that best.
We will find the worst. Why, Ryan?
We'd like to find the worst things.
Because, what were we saying about clouds?
Well, that's our closer.
Oh, sorry.
That's our closer.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to have to wait until you get the brand.
That's right.
So on this special episode, Ryan and Ruben, we're going to be going over Rocky, the Rocky franchise. One of the most enduring franchises ever, been going for 40 years. It has its fan base. We're included. We have a podcast called...
the Rocky Series Podcast. Going the distance.
Where we go the distance through the whole entire series. This, we're going to be going through the top grossing. So we've chosen the top 4 grossing films, and we've adjusted it for inflation.
That's right. So the reason why we adjusted it for inflation is it gives us an indication of how many people saw the film. So not just if the films were released all today, who bought the most tickets for each film? And why don't you mention the least attended film of the Rocky series? Though considered one of the critical favorites of the franchise, this film sold the least amount of tickets.
That would be... it depends. Okay, so it was Rocky Balboa, in my opinion. It's Creed, in other people's opinion.
Well, I'm saying Creed was almost a surprise success. I think it's in our recent memory, it was such a good hit. It was a critical hit. It did well at the box office. It made money, but it sold the least amount of tickets.
I'm going to say that Creed, though they're doing a sequel, because they're doing a sequel to it, it's going to be Creed 2.
Right.
And so in my head, it's a different franchise.
Ooh, okay.
Because you'll watch like an Avengers movie where they'll have somebody from one franchise in that, like Iron Man's in the new Spider-Man movie. It's not an Iron Man movie.
All right, that's a good
argument. So we got Rocky and Creed. It's not a Rocky movie.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Until Creed 2 comes out, Creed is kind of part of the franchise. But however, that won't be part of our discussion today.
No. Rocky Balboa was the least attended.
Oh, was it? Okay.
According to
inflation?
Or is one that grossed the least.
Okay.
Which one would conclude was the least attended.
That's weird that Rocky 5 had more ticket sales than Rocky Balboa.
Well, I have a theory, and I was going to mention it with our first episode when we go over Pearl Jam's career, is that whatever the highest grossing is, you can know how many people really enjoyed that by who went to the sequel.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So...
But it's weird that Pearl Jam's... Every album that came out after, though I think Versus was, like I said, it's better than 10. People didn't buy the third album, so it's weird, as much as the second one. So it didn't translate to...
Well, I remember when Metallica's Black Album came out.
Right.
Everybody that I knew, they'd be listening to CNC Music Factory and they'd have the Metallica album. Like, just kind of like everybody got it.
That's right.
Doesn't mean they were fans of hard rock. Okay, but we're talking about, speaking of rock, we're talking about Rocky here.
Rocky.
And so the number one grossing Rocky movie, and this is with inflation, by the way, is Rocky. The first one, 1976. In today's dollars, it grossed $967,000 plus million. Almost $1 billion in the box office.
So $967 million.
Crazy, eh?
So almost $1 billion in ticket sales.
Yeah.
Holy, that's awesome. I love inflation.
Yeah. So back in 76 or 77, it did $225 million.
Huge success.
Yeah.
This is a near perfect film. As those who know me personally, Ruben, as you know me, and as those who know you.
I think I know you personally.
Rocky I consider basically a flawless film. Mm-hmm. And so for me to find the worst in the best of the Rocky film, Rocky 1, was very, 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 very difficult. But I did come up with a scene, with a segment that doesn't play very well. It's kind of a hard scene to watch. And I think it's one that, if written a little bit differently, and if it was, I don't know, like I like the ending of the scene, but the whole build up to it, I don't know, it felt out of place and really dark. That is, I mean, a lot of flack from my Rocky fans on this one, but that's fine. The Little Marie scene. The whole dialogue with Rocky walking with this 12-year-old girl. Rocky's 30 years old. This girl is 12 years old. I guess we're to think that there's some sort of connection that Rocky would know where Little Marie lives, that he would take her away from the gang of guys that she was hanging out with. She's 12 years old. He's basically having a birds and bees talk with this girl, walking her home at 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was. And though his advice was sound, it's almost, I wouldn't say inappropriate, but it's like a 30-year-old man, not her father, not her uncle. I don't know what the relationship is, but he's basically telling her, stop acting like a whore. He says that you can't act like a whore because even if you aren't one, as he would say, that's what I mean. Me talking about the scene, like I have to justify it. I have to wonder about it.
You're telling me that you wouldn't want a 30-year-old man talking to your daughter when she's 12.
That's what makes this scene difficult to watch. It's like, I have a 3-year-old daughter, 9 years, but I want some 30-year-old guy giving her advice. You know, maybe she didn't have a man in her life. That's the whole point. The point is we don't know much about Little Marie. We don't know what their history is. And so this whole scene, though it plays off that we see Rocky just trying to be a good guy, that even people that he's trying to help, you know, she says, screw you, creepo, which might have been how she felt. This was kind of creepy. Yeah. So, in the character of the film, and this film has a lot of heart, a lot of love, a lot of drama, a lot of good points. Anyways, that scene, if rewritten, could have been better. But you know, if it never existed, the film could still stand up on its own.
Okay, fair enough.
Worst scene of the best film.
Okay, for me, right at the very end, where he loses, not that he lost, it's just the makeup. It's just the makeup. Anything in the movie that takes me out of believing it's real, where I'm reminded that this is just, like, of course I know that it's a movie, but when you're kind of reminded, like, okay, that's ridiculous. The makeup wasn't that good.
Wow. I'm trying to get the black eye. Like, he's got that eye, or this is left eye. You know, he's like...
Yeah. It's kind of like when you're watching a movie and, like, Matt Damon plays, like, a really old man, and it just, like, looks like you're wearing makeup as a really old person.
Yeah, I don't think Rocky won the Oscar for best makeup.
No. All right, so moving to number...
You're doing good for time. You don't have to go that fast. Wow.
That joke was so easy to write.
We spent we spent a full 20 minutes on ketchup and mustard, and we're flying through the Rocky franchise. But not like we don't talk about it enough on our other podcast. But
all right, so Rocky 3 is the second highest grossing.
Okay,
and so back in '82, it grossed $270 million.
Wow. Which
is respectable now.
It's respectable now.
But you adjust for now, it's $684 million.
Mega hit.
Almost $685 million.
Mega hit.
Mega hit.
That's like Guardians of the Galaxy type money. And the budget, you know, the money that Rocky's, like, inflation. I don't know if you did the inflation for budget.
I did.
Okay.
So the original budget was $17 million. Today's dollars, that's $43 million.
Wow. Can you imagine making a $43 million movie and having it gross almost $700 million?
Well, that's just license to print money.
Yeah.
Like, when are you doing number 4?
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
When are you doing number 4? Which is kind of interesting that they waited so long for number 5, but anyways, yeah.
So I'll start with what I thought was the worst part of, I think, a really great film.
Okay.
Thunder Lips.
Wow. The charity match.
No, Thunder Lips. Thunder Lips. Not the charity match.
So the charity match was legit.
When I watched it, I was in the 3rd grade and I was into WWF wrestling. Mm-hmm. And so I knew who Hulk Hogan was. And so for me to see him outside of being a good guy when I was in the 3rd grade, that ruined it for me. And even now, because I just watched it a few weeks ago, it still takes me out of it a little bit.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that takes me out of a movie, a little bit. That would be a flaw of the movie.
So that seems to be the theme here.
I'm not
The makeup. The makeup took you out of Rocky 1 for a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, he got beaten up, but that's just makeup. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the real life Hulk Hogan fake character of being a good guy in the World Wrestling Federation.
Sure.
Seen him play a heel or a bad guy in the Rocky 3 movie.
Let's face it, he was kind of typecast, his acting career. Terry. What's his name?
Terry Bollio.
Yeah. Yeah. Though he's done a wide variety of things. He started off with wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's done some independent home movies that's made him a lot of money.
Yeah. Good for him. Good for him.
So, Ryan, what was for the worst part of Rocky 3 for you?
Again, my Rocky fans, my fellow Rocky fans might give me a little flack for this, Rube.
They might. Can you take it?
Well, it's funny. Well,
can you take on the chin?
Did you take my aghast face when you said that the Thunder? I love Thunder Lips, but I get it. I get why you chose it. Like I get it.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, but for me, maybe you'll give me the same. What do you call it? Leeway. Was the beach running scene?
I loved it.
Okay,
something stirred in me that day.
Okay, what I'm getting at, this movie, I guess the reason why it's my least favorite. No, this is the worst scene in one of the best movies ever made, Rocky 3. But what makes it so worse is so lampooned that it almost takes away from the film.
Because it's been lampooned, you don't like it?
Well, I do admit that them running and doing that weird homoerotic dance in the ocean, and like, you know, and I guess
it's this muscular men glistening with short shorts.
It's the worst scene. Now, it doesn't mean I can't
slow mo jumping together.
Again, I'll say it doesn't mean I can't watch it over and over again. It doesn't mean I have it on a loop. Yeah, I have it on a loop. It doesn't mean that I don't have it as a GIF on my, you know.
It's pronounced Jeff, actually.
Is it pronounced Jeff?
Yeah. The person that invented it said it's Jeff.
He gets to make that call.
Sure, it's like George. It's not. Well, it could be Gorge.
There is a gorge. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my least favorite scene. The reason being is again, because the training. I'll tell you why. Because the training sequences in Rocky 1 and 2 are always up with Rocky 4. My goodness, Rocky 4. Like, so that's see what I'm getting at. Whereas Rocky 3, they missed the boat. I'm making it so corny and so cheesy.
They didn't miss the banana boat.
No, the banana boat wasn't docked that day, my friends. So that's what I'm getting at. It's the train sequence is the most beloved sequence of the films, and unfortunately, in this film, it becomes a bit of a laughing stock.
Did you see this in the theater?
Yeah, I did see Rocky 3 in the theaters.
Okay, I saw it on VHS. At least that, if I recall, that was the first time.
Probably, yeah.
And then Rocky 4 was the first that I saw.
Okay. I think we probably went as a family when we saw Rocky 4. I assume our mother took us to see Rocky 4.
So Rocky 4 is the third highest grossing.
Which I find surprising. I thought more people would have seen Rocky 4 in the theaters than Part 3. Okay.
Yeah. So very close though, right? They were off by less than $1 million.
Oh, so it was almost hand in hand.
Yeah.
Same amount of people that saw 3 essentially saw 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it grossed $683,191,000.
And its budget was for inflation.
For inflation was $63 million.
So a little bit more. Cost a little bit more.
Well, they had to go to Russia.
They had to film in Wyoming.
Even though it's cheaper to live there, you got to pay off a lot of people.
Yeah. Putin.
I don't think Putin had anything to do back then.
Now, I was right. It was Gorbachev.
So we have a deal not to know what each other's answer is beforehand. You broke.
It was by accident.
Okay, so Ryan knows what my worst is.
Sure.
What's your worst? What's the worst?
Is this the fourth? This is the third one that broke. Okay.
1985.
Yeah. My least favorite scene.
We saw this as a family.
Yeah, my least favorite scene is the James Brown sequence. It's the worst sequence.
Yeah, I could see why you would say that.
It's so long. It's like, you know, that whole sequence of James Brown singing basically is a music video. I got to sit in the theaters and watch a music video of James Brown, and it took longer than the fight with Drago. So it's like they could have
used the screen. Why James Brown? Was he a hot commodity in '85?
I don't know. I don't know what his markability was in '85. I remember even as a kid he seemed old then, and this was 30-odd years ago.
What's he doing lately?
I think he's passed away.
Oh. May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace.
Is he wrapped in his cape?
I think so.
At the casket, did that person that puts the cape on him
Yeah, maybe.
was there to...
They actually put him in the casket in a kneeling position. Stooped over like this. But so that whole sequence, again, if you took that out and had a different kind of entry, you could have Apollo doing some sort of dance, some sort of jig, it still could have worked. I like that they made Apollo kind of a showman, all that stuff. I wish they just made it about Apollo. And again, this is another lampooned, unnecessary, and already a short film. It was already a short film. It was
like 90 minutes?
Not even. And I think it's 83 or 84 minutes.
Crazy.
So that's what I mean. So 4 or 5 minutes is spent on this song where they could have used that for some sort of storyline.
I wonder why it's such a short film. Obviously, they didn't have a lot of the story. It's basically we go in Russia. Now, part of what made it not feel short, the worst spot for me in the film, is after the fight.
Okay, so this is your worst scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
The worst part of Rocky IV for Ruben.
I came here tonight, and I didn't know what to expect.
Do you have Kleenex? This is...
I seen a lot of people hate me, and I didn't know
There's like
what to feel
self-searching.
about that, so I guess I didn't like you much, not either.
This is where he plays like the dumb a little too much.
During this fight,
Uh-huh.
I seen a lot of changing.
It's a scene full of military people.
The way you felt about me, and the way I felt about you.
Oh.
In here, there were two guys
Alright, I can't do more.
killing each other.
The Drago's even listening.
But I guess
All right.
it's better than Merry Christmas, kid!
Alright. Anyways, but I didn't even get to the... I should have queued it up to like, if you can change,
Well, yeah, we all know it's coming.
everyone can change. It's terrible.
Beautiful.
It's terrible.
Beautiful.
It's terrible. So for me, that was the worst part of the film.
All right.
All
So
right.
you would rather watch the James... So you're basically saying you would rather watch the James Brown sequence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I like to get funky.
Okay.
All right. So number 3 top grossing Rocky film is...
The fourth one.
Oh, sorry. The fourth. Sorry. My apologies. The fourth top grossing Rocky film out of the 6 is Rocky 2.
That's crazy.
It's weird how it kind of skipped that way.
But
'cause
it's
it usually
weird.
goes but there
It's
was
weird that they sold less tickets for 2.
my theory is beta machines and VHS is entering the scene.
I don't... Interesting theory, but I wonder if they got, like, are you kidding me? Why would they make this film? I don't know, but...
But I'm guessing people saw it because then they went and saw 3 at a
more,
higher rate.
Yeah, but more, that's right, yeah. More people saw 3 than they saw 2. Okay.
So it still did excellent. $674 million adjusted again.
Yeah, of course.
It had a budget of 20. I don't have the original budget, but the adjusted budget is 23 million.
oh,
and-
huge money.
Yeah,
Huge
yeah.
money. Okay. So I went first last time, bro.
Yeah.
What do you
Did
say?
you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you did. You ruined this for me.
I ruined this for you.
Yes, you ruined Rocky 2 for me.
I didn't ruin the whole movie, did I?
Uh,
Are we going to pick the same sequence? Cool. So what is the worst part of Rocky 2 for you, Roop?
okay, if it was a scene, it'd be Rocky driving his son on an electric golf cart through the mansion.
That's Rocky 3.
Rocky 2. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Never mind.
okay.
You see,
What's your pick for Rocky 2?
crap, I screwed it up.
Oh.
I had 3 in my head.
Oh.
Okay, but for Rocky 2,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Dan ruined it for me.
Okay.
The music
Oh.
and the intro.
Okay.
It never bothered me, but once I heard him going with the sirens going in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Dan did.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Yeah, I didn't like it. But
Okay.
so I still ruined it for you.
You still ruined it for
Okay,
me.
good. I'm glad. Yeah, the intro to Rocky 2 is horrible. So I like that pick. I like your pick for worst part of Rocky 2. The worst part of Rocky 2 for me, I think that's what you're going to get to, is the coma scene.
Okay.
Yeah, the coma sequence, I should say. That whole drawn out. Yes, Adrian's in a coma. Die or wake up. That's as if you're kind of like it's going to be one or the other. This isn't a weekly show, like a weekly episodic show. This is only a 2-hour movie. Let's get over this. Is Adrian going to live or not? Because we got to fight, or we're not going to fight. So it kind of means the viewers like you could drag it out if it was a weekly show.
Sure.
This is a long sequence for a 2-hour movie, like 8 to 10, 12 minutes of this coma scene, and the movie that is already about 15 minutes too long. So the worst scene Rocky did, though a fantastic movie, of course, if they shortened that coma scene altogether, would have been a near flawless movie.
Okay. Well, that's it. No, now out of those, I should do this with other episodes. Okay. Out of those 4 worst scenes, which one's the worst?
Oh, good point. The coma scene for me. The coma scene by far is I think it's the biggest bone I have to pick with the Rocky series is the coma sequence. Once put me in a coma.
Okay, mine would stick with Rocky 1 with the makeup.
Oh wow, okay. Well, there you have it.
It's a visual thing that just took me out of the film.
That was episode 3, Ruben.
All right. Well, I'm glad that we're able to find the very best and what's worst in it.
Or find the worst out of the best.
Kind of like, what's that about clouds again?
So remember, in front of every silver lining, there is a cloud. And we're going to help you find that cloud.
All right. Until next time, guys.